Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that.
Hello and welcome to Roller Coasting with me, your host, Megano. Happy Thursday. How are we all doing? What have we all been up to? I'm feeling right at home. I've definitely settled into my fun fair. A home away from home, you could say. From Megano's Manor to the fun fair. And honestly, actually not that much is different between the two places. What have I got to fill you in on? Big weekend, guys. Big weekend. The real ones will know. I went to Manchester to see my boyfriend. Still not used to saying that. And I met his parents. I met his mum and stepdad. Wow. Scary times. Actually, it wasn't scary. I thought it was going to be more scary, but it was absolutely perfect, to be honest. They're amazing. They're so nice. Me and his mum are both Geminis, so we have quite a lot in common. If there's one thing about me, it is that I really am... Whoa. I just have a wee frog in my throat. I really am a true Gemini, and the older I get, the more and more I realise I am through and through Gemini. Apart from apparently Geminis are two-faced, and obviously I'm not going to say I'm two-faced because who would actually admit that? But I genuinely don't think I am two-faced, but otherwise I would say I'm quite the Gemini. So really got on with my boyfriend's mum and stepdad. So that was a really big moment, big life moment, slay. I actually drove to Manchester for the first time. Normally I would get the train, but I was like, let's try out the wheels. Let's drive down on a motorway, see how we got on. Won't do it again. It's so boring. Maybe if I had company, it would be fine. But 3 hours and 40 minutes is what it took me. 3 hours and 40 minutes alone in the car with my brain. It's too much. It was so boring. You can't go on your phone. Not to sound addicted to my phone, but you obviously can't go on your phone. I did listen to some podcasts, and as we can see, I'm a fan of a podcast. If you've not worked that out yet, but there's only so many podcasts you can listen to on the trot, so probably won't do that again. It stopped at every single service station because I have the bladder the size of a Heinz bean, so every single service station I'm in to do a pee, out again. Makes the journey so much longer. I just like being on the train with table seat, laptop. I'll download some Married at First Sight to watch. I can go to the toilet whenever I want. It doesn't add any time onto my journey. I'm definitely a Transpennine Express gal is the conclusion I've drawn. Oh my God, another thing, sorry, I've noticed about my journey to Manchester and back. So I'm going to need to go and get my car validated, because do you know, this is quite a gruesome fact, do you know that when you drive like long distance and your regi plate's covered in black dots, that's fly guts. That is literally fly guts, because you've been driving so fast, all those poor flies. I mean, I don't really care for flies. I care for all animals, I would say, but are flies animals? Are insects animals? Probably, but I don't really care for flies. Like, they swarm around poo and they try and eat your food as well, so I don't really care for flies. Lots of dead flies on my car, so I'll need to go for a valet. So there's that to consider as well, as the fly guts on your car. Right guys, it is episode 3 and finally Megano's mail is not empty. Want to see what's in the mailbox? Da-da-da! Oh my God, it's a phone! Who sent me a phone? No, this is the phone number, and this is your chance as well. The number will be on screen right now. If you would like to send me some Megano's mail for next week's episode and beyond, then please use the number on screen right now. That is what's in the mailbox, not physical mail. If you want to send me a letter, hit me up. I can definitely give you a wee address to send a letter to, but you know, we're moving with the times. You can definitely send me a text, a WhatsApp. You can send an Instagram DM. But I did go to the efforts of buying a new SIM card just for this phone. So I would prefer if you were to WhatsApp me if I was being really picky, guys. So thank you to anyone who has sent Megano's mail so far. I understand that's quite scary to confide in myself. It'll be 100%, I don't know how to say this word, 100% anonymous. One of those versions. I will never say your name. I will never say who you are. So you can trust me. I'm very trustworthy. I have been told that in the past. So do send anything you want. I'm going to try and make it more specific. Like each week, I should probably give you like some sort of indication as to what I'm looking for. So if I don't answer your Megano's mail right now, trust me, it's been saved for another episode. But I'm trying to go along with a sort of common theme here for today's episode. So let's dive in to Megano's mailbox, also known as my second phone. Okay, our first message is, hey Gado, love your podcast. I'm a big fan. Thanks, chick. I'm an Irish girly. I am actually, so I tell everyone I'm half Irish, but it turns out I'm only quarter Irish. But I've still a wee bit in there, and I believe I'm getting my Irish passport next year. I'm hoping you can bring Roller Coasting Live over to here in future. Well, maybe with that Irish passport. I'm currently in uni and looking to begin a new side hustle, in brackets travel agent. I'm a gal. I like to travel on the back of last week's episode, which involves a lot of marketing on social media. What would you recommend to someone to do that will improve my social media for this? Also, another question, is there any tips on starting my own running journey, as I know you have experienced running long distance? I go to the gym most days of the week and love it, but would love to be able to run far. Thank you so much and good luck on the new season. I'm so glad you're back. I'm also glad to be back. Right, many questions there. With social media, I would say don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to think outside the box. We're all in a box, and if we all sit in it, you're never going to get recognised. You need to climb out that box. But I will speak more than that as the episode goes on. With the running, honestly, again, I'm going to speak about this in today's episode, but with running, it's really a mental game. Also, it's a bad game for the knees, is what I've found. But I would say running definitely is all about the mindset, and that's something I'm definitely still trying to tackle, or was trying to tackle. But you'd be surprised. You can be surprised what you can do if you put your mind to something, and that's what running all really is. But fuck me, it is so hard. It's actually borderline horrific, and it's a torturous experience, if I'm being totally honest with you. If you want the real answer, it's hell out there running. Never did run my half marathon, but we'll get on to that. So that is first piece of Megano's mail. Yay! Let's see what else Megano's mail has to offer. Someone said, oh my God! I literally love you so much. Oh, love you too. All love here, guys. I just want to know easy ways to get into a routine. I want to become a clean girly, a gym girly, but I'm just too lazy. I can't find the motivation to do anything. Easy ways to get into a routine. So what is that quote? Now, I'm normally full of quotes, but this one I'm a bit dusty on. Something like a habit. I can't remember. Anyway, you have to do something X amount of times before it becomes a habit. So start small. Start by setting your alarm for the same time every single day. If you set your alarm every day, say 7:30, before you know it, if you've done that for days on the trot, a new habit of yours will be getting up at 7:30 every day. Then you could introduce something else, like making sure you do like 5,000 steps a day, something like that. If you just implement all these small little things, before you know it, they've all become habits, and you're in a routine without just waking up one day. Like, you can't cold turkey. Well, what's the reverse of cold turkey? Like hot chicken or something. You can't just like hot chicken something. Like, you can't say one day, oh, I'm gonna get up at 10 in the morning, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna lie on my couch all day, but tomorrow I'm gonna get up at 7 and I'm gonna eat nothing but greens and I'm gonna accomplish all these things. Whoa, don't jump in the deep end. Let's not swim before we can paddle. Let's not breaststroke before we can doggy paddle. Let's do small bits at a time. So that would be my advice, is start small and slowly implement them all in, and before you know it, you'll have a great new routine. But more on that, I feel like I've realised I have done this quite back to front. I keep saying more on that, but this is all leading into today's topic. And guess what, guys? I'm new here. No one's perfect. On to our third one of the day. Thanks for sending these in, guys. It would have been so awkward if there was none again. At that point, I'd be texting my mum saying, send me some in, Kate. Anyway, someone said, hi. Hello. Your podcast has been getting me through a breakup recently from a 3-year relationship. Oh, your positivity and good vibes have been a distraction for my wee brain. God, well, I'm glad I'm of use somewhere. Do you have any advice for giving each other our belongings back in the least awkward way possible? Oh shit, I mean, that is awkward. Like, is there a least awkward way? I've never really had the least awkward way myself. Actually, to be fair, with my last ex, we didn't have, he only had things to collect from Minds, and I just said, I'll just leave it in a bag outside my front door if you want. Easy, we don't have to speak. I won't look at my Ring doorbell so that I don't see that you're there. And that's weather dependent, because obviously if it was like blowing a gale or, you know, pouring down, and his things would have got ruined. But it was a dry day. I just popped it in a wee Tesco bag, tied a knot in it, hung it on the front door. There we go. So depends how many belongings you have. If you've got like lots of stuff, which you probably do after 3 years, that might be a wee bit more difficult. The logistics in there might be harder, but ideally I'm going to say a no contact would be great. That's just least awkward, because then you're going to see each other and it'll be all sad and like it's just like another setback. Or get your friend to do it. Say, you know, you must have a friend, family member. They can take one for the team. You scratch their back, they'll scratch yours. No, surely. No contact, ideally. You don't want to do this whole meet up and then you start talking about why you broke up again. No, you just need to rip the band-aid off, get their stuff back to them, you get your stuff back, and you move on with it. I would suggest putting it in a Tesco bag, tying it in a knot and hanging it on your front door. That worked for me. We have another one here. We have, hi. I keep saying hi so weirdly. Hi. Now I can't say it unweirdly. Hi. I'm in a situation where my baby is now 7 months. Oh, congrats. And I'm just so unhappy with the father and lost feelings, but I'm so scared at the thought of being myself and single. How did you manage to start over and be on your own? I'm so scared at the thought of starting over. What steps did you take after your relationship? I want to be happy on my own. So here's some advice relating back to the baby. Not that I have a baby, I don't, so I don't know what that's like. But the one piece of advice I always say when someone's going through a breakup, unless you're a twin, you came out the womb alone. I came out the womb alone. I didn't come out the womb with a boyfriend. And I was fine. I was fine when I was 0 years. Here's another thing. This actually is the bamboozling my brain. We'll do that episode. Why when a baby's born is it not 1? Why is it 0? Like you've been maybe I suppose you'd be like 9 months. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. But when you come out the womb, you come out alone. You were put on this world to be alone, technically. You can do it on your own. And I know you might not relate to yourself as an adult, as a baby, but you just need to remember your roots. You need to remember where you came from. You came out that womb alone and you were fine. Anyone in your life, this is what I say for a relationship, me and Nadine always say this, anyone you choose to have a partner in your life should just add to your life. Of course, there'll be hurdles, and of course, life isn't all rainbows and daisies as much as we would wish it is. When people say they think of my brain, they say it's all like rainbows and like unicorns jumping over and like daisies and stuff. And that is how I'd like to think of life, and that is what's going on in my head a lot, but that's not reality. Reality check, Megan. That's not real. And I know it's not real. But what was I saying about the womb? The womb. We all came out the womb on our own. And you can continue to be, Nadine, the womb. Nadine also came out the womb on her own. Nadine came out the womb on her own in Hong Kong. Now that's a crazy fact. She was born in Hong Kong. And when we first became friends, I didn't believe her, because why would Nadine have been born in Hong Kong? And she phoned her mum, and her mum worked in the bank at the time. She said, Mum, sure I was born in Hong Kong. And Nadine was like, Nadine, why are you asking such ridiculous questions? You know you were born in Hong Kong. Anyway, so Nadine came out the womb in Hong Kong, and I came out the womb in Glasgow, Southern General, and we're all born on our own, so you're going to be absolutely fine. And that's what I always tell people. Yeah, you love someone. Yeah, you thought they were going to be in your life forever, and one day that band-aid is just ripped off and you're back to being single, but that's fine. You're going to be fine there. And if you are letting someone be so lucky to be in your life, they should be adding to it. And if they're not, if they're causing, a negative impact on your life, they aren't making you feel special, the feelings are gone, it is time to say bye. As harsh as that might be, it's bye. And you should have no qualms in doing so. everyone in the world deserves to be treated like a king or queen. And if someone's not able to do that, it is okay to say goodbye and we'll try again next time. And you're going to be so fine on your own. Take time to find out what you love doing. Maybe it's spending time with more friends. Like if you were spending a lot of time with your partner, now you can use that time to see your friends, to see your family. You've got the wee baby that you can go and do mum and baby things together. You're going to be absolutely fine, and you will thank yourself for getting out of a relationship that wasn't fulfilling you further down the line, whenever that may be. Trust me. Okay, we're going to do one more Megano's Mail question and then we'll move on to today's topic. And this one is best ways, I should get a cute roller coaster phone case, that just came to my mind. Best ways to deal with seeing your ex move on. Look, seeing your ex move on is bizarre. It is utterly bizarre. Even if you've moved on first and then you see them move on, it still is like weird. It doesn't necessarily mean that you care or you wish it was you. It's just like odd. Like you used to see them with you and now they're with someone else. That's okay to find that strange, weird, sad, whatever you find it. That's absolutely fine. Ways to deal with it is remember, exes are exes for a reason. There's a reason you're not together, whatever it may be. Even if they ended it with you and you didn't want them to end it with you, who gives a shit? They're your past, not your present. So really what I would do in that situation is think, sorry, I've got wee hair on my nose. On that situation, I would think, why did we break up again? And say, oh yeah, that's why. Oh well, and he's now with someone else and that's fine. And good luck to them. Hopefully they will have a better relationship than you guys had. And if you have not moved on yet, you trust it. If they moved on, you absolutely will as well. In time. Time's a healer. And yeah, they're your ex for a reason. Everyone has to move on with life eventually, and don't let it beat you down. That is just rejection is redirection. There's a quote. Okay, well that was all today on Megano's Mail. Remember, you can send into Megano's Mail at any time. Even if I don't answer it next week, I might answer it the one after that or the one after that in 3 years' time, in 10 years' time, who knows. But please feel free to send in to Megano's Mail and I will be a bit more specific sometimes on what we're looking for what weeks. But thank you so much if you sent into Megano's Mail. We love you. Moving on to today's topic. The one thing I thought all of those questions I just answered has in common was motivation. Did they? Did they not? Who cares? But for today's episode, they all had that in common. What is motivation? I'll tell you what motivation is. Motivation, the definition of motivation, is a reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way. What motivation is to me is the driving force behind everything and anything. Literally everything and anything. Like motivation is needed to take the bins out. Something as small as taking the bins out. It is needed for something as large as getting a podcast studio that looks like a fun fair. But I'll tell you what, talking about why I took the bins out probably won't make for much of an interesting topic. So I'm going to talk about 3 different life things that I feel like require a lot of motivation. We have work, we have health, and we have love. Before we dive on into this, no, not dive in, this isn't a podcast about pools, this is a podcast about roller coasting. Before we dip on this roller coaster ride, I will make a disclaimer. I do not think I'm Mr. Motivator. I don't. And I am still working out this funny old life the same way we're all working out life. My question is, to maybe someone who has more life experience than me, do you ever figure it out? I don't think so. I think that is all part of the roller coaster of life. But if there's one thing about me, I can talk. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but I can talk. So I am going to share my own personal experiences through stories about motivation. Buckle in. It is time to maybe get motivated or maybe not. Maybe this will have the opposite effect, but we'll see. Right, I thought we could start with the exhilarating topic of work. Actually, I think talking about work is so interesting. Like, I love, one of the first things I will ask someone when I have met someone new is, what do you do for work? Just because I think it is so, like, isn't it so crazy? We're all people. Let's take it back to the womb. We all came out the womb and nobody knew what that person, what that little baby, that wee baby that's just fresh out of the womb, nobody knows what that baby was going to go on and do. I bet none of the midwives who helped deliver me thought I'd be sitting here in what looks like a fun fair talking complete nonsense down this microphone. One thing about me when I was a baby is I was a long baby. I was 9 pound 8, and people would think that's quite a heavy baby, but my dad said I wasn't particularly heavy, but I was really long, which makes sense because I have kept my length my full life. Well, no, I'm not, I've got bigger, I've got longer actually. I didn't come out, believe it or not, this height, but I have always been quite a long person, like long arms, long legs, long, what's this called? Torso. A long person. And on the topic of babies, pray for me, should I have a baby and deliver it naturally, because I was 9 pounds 8, my wee brother was 10 pounds 6. Humongous. He wasn't long. He was just big. And apparently the doctor said to Mum, don't have another baby. Like, because what size would that have been? Genuinely. So apparently that's genetic baby size. So that'll be fun for me. Why did I start talking about wombs again? This topic should have maybe been about the womb, actually. Why am I talking about a womb again? I thought I was talking about work. Oh, yeah, sorry. When we come out the womb, nobody knows what anyone is going to do for work. So I think it is so interesting to learn what people got up to and what do you go and do all day. It's wildly interesting. Anyway, the topic of work. So when I was, a teenager, like 15, 16, I had no direction where my life was going. Up until that point, I thought I was going to be a singer, but I'm tone deaf, so I'm naturally not a singer. And I just didn't have, like, you know, some people grow up like, I'm going to be a vet, like, I'm going to be a lawyer. Fuck being a lawyer, by the way. I mean, great money, I understand that, but that must be draining. That must be mentally draining. No hate to the lawyers out there. Keep on defending. But yeah, people like are not born with, but people know they have a direction they're going to go in life. I never did. And in school, I just thought it was like a sort of social experiment. I enjoyed going and seeing my friends every day. I enjoyed Now, that's a good point. I always get into trouble for talking too much in school, and whenever it was parents' night, they'd say, you know, Megan's okay. She's passing her test here and there. But talk. Well, look at me now, teachers. That worked in my favour, would you say? So maybe that was my direction. I just didn't realise it at the time. But yeah, I had no clear direction on what I was going to do with my life. Then I just started thinking that being a businesswoman was a good idea, and I'm sure it is, but that's all I knew was businesswoman. I didn't know what business or what I'd be doing. So in 6 years, so my last year at high school, I crashed higher business. So if you crash a subject, that's when you've never done it before, like you've literally never even been in a business class, but you decide to crash the highest possible qualification of it in school. So that's what I done. Was shite at it, like literally terrible at it. So it came to the morning of my business exam and my alarm went off and I said, nah, I'm not going to that exam. I knew I was going to fail it. So I literally just turned my alarm off and went back to bed. My mum runs in, Megan, the school are on the phone. The business exam's starting, they're going to wait. Like, quickly, get your stuff on, I'll take you to school. And I said, oh, no, it's okay. And she's like, what do you mean it's okay? And I said, I'm just gonna not go today. I'm not going to sit the exam. And she was like, what do you mean you're not going to sit the exam? And I said, I've had the change of heart. I'm not going to pass that. And I don't want to be a businesswoman anymore. I was like, what? Like, as you would. And if this is me with my 9 pound 6 baby in the future, I'll be the same. That was really irresponsible, that action of mine. And what makes it worse is actually I had just spent months applying to university to do business, to go and pursue my businesswoman career. So obviously, because I didn't go to my business exam and I had 0 qualifications, I could now no longer go to uni. So me not going to this business exam was pretty terrible. So I didn't go to my business exam, didn't go to uni. Instead, I'd done an apprenticeship at BT. hated it. It was a business apprenticeship. Absolutely hated it. Some of the worst times of my life were in BT, business billing department, hell on earth. Then I decided I'm not doing that anymore. So I went and worked for a fashion company. And this was like a step down. Like, this was a lot less money. Well, no, step down is the wrong word. It was less money. It was a step down on the financial ladder. But sometimes you need to take steps down to move back up. Rejection is redirection. It's like a big game of snakes and ladders. Life is a big game of snakes and ladders. Sometimes you'll go, oh, you'll climb up, you think you're getting somewhere, and then you'll slip on a snake and fall right back down. But you can always get back up. When life kicks you down, get back up. So, as I said, snakes and ladders, started my new job, and I thought this was going to be like, okay, I'll take a couple of steps down, and then that means that I can then progress in this new career. And look, it wasn't necessarily like that, but it was what led me to do this today, because when I worked in BT, I was miserable. Like, literally the day would end and all I wanted to do was go home, switch off. Like, I didn't want to speak to anyone else because I'd just spent 9 hours on the phone all day. And you might not think that sounds hard for me, because here I am talking for hours, but it was difficult because everyone was a negative Nancy, and no offence, but I actually don't care if your Wi-Fi's broke. Sorry, I don't. I'm going to come out and say it. Don't give a shit. This I give a shit about. So when I used to leave BT, I had no motivation to do anything. I wished my life away. All I thought about was the weekend. Saturday and Sunday were the only 2 days of the week I enjoyed, and that is no way to live. It's really not. So moving to this other job, albeit was less money, and I didn't know how I would save for a house and all the rest of it, it was much better headspace up here for me. It was getting back to my rainbows and daisies and unicorns jumping over the rainbows, which allowed me to start putting time and effort into what I do now. Like, I was in a much better mood, so I was able to film YouTube videos. When I'd go home, I'd be excited to go home and like edit them. I'd be excited to take pictures. I just was in a much better headspace, so that enabled me to do things that I enjoyed. Whereas when I worked in BT, I was just sad, very sad. So I moved to my new job, and I moved to the office job, and that's when I started putting a lot of time and effort into what I do now. And it is key that I mention here that like what I do now was not quick. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a matter of months. To put it into context, I made my YouTube channel, I checked this morning, I made my YouTube channel 6 years ago. What on earth? That is the length of time it took me to complete high school, and that's how long ago I made my YouTube channel. I had no idea. I've been telling people I'd made my YouTube channel about 3 years ago. Time literally flies. It is terrifying. So I made my channel 6 years ago, and this has been my full-time job, like influencing, if you will, whatever you want to call me. Social media wanker, whatever. This has been my full-time job for 3 years now. So it took me 3 years to build that up and for it to become my job. So I spent 3 years working on something, and I put a lot of time and effort into it that really I didn't know if it would ever pay off. And there was times where I would make videos, I'd come up with new ideas, they'd flop, no one would watch them, it wasn't getting anywhere. There was a lot of time where I thought, this is, and it shouldn't be, but it was embarrassing, because also at the beginning, people didn't really understand what this was. Like, people didn't know why wee Megan, who works in an office from Glasgow, has a YouTube channel. Why? I get it, understand. I walked my dog on the weekdays, and I went out with my friends on the weekends. My life wasn't anything abnormal, it wasn't anything different, so I get why people didn't understand it. And when I think back to why did I keep going with it, I just knew there was something more to life. Like, whatever it may be, I didn't expect it to turn into my full-time job. I certainly didn't expect to be sitting in a fun, fair-looking podcast studio. That's something I never seen coming. But I thought there must be more than this like mundane lifestyle. Like, there has to be more. That mundane, that's a good word. God, sometimes my vocabulary shocks me. I don't know where I learned that. Anyway, mundane, I believe that is like when you just do the same thing all the time and it's not that interesting. The dictionary is here all day. So I knew that there must be something more than Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Didn't really love my job. Hey, if you have a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 and you love it, then go queen. But I didn't. I was cutting threads off jackets at that point in my life. There wasn't really much to see here, much to do here. I just knew there had to be something more. And probably as well, I loved doing social media. I still love doing it. So it's probably a wee bit of an escapism as well. But I swear something was telling me this might all be worth it one day. And it was. Here I am. I personally think in like a work sense anyway, it's important to keep up the momentum of motivation. Like I always say that I'm very happy where I'm at right now. Like with my job, like the sort of level of busyness I'm at, you know, I've been able to get my flat. Like I'm very happy where I'm at, but that doesn't mean that I ever lose motivation to like want and need more. Like you need to keep going. And that is whatever sense that means, like no matter what line of work you're in, I do think it's so important to always have like a wee fire in your belly to like want and do more. For example, the podcast studio. This is my like latest thing. This is like scary. It's not necessarily something that I like had to do, and that's what I mean. Like it's important to have motivation to want to do more things and to sort of push yourself, and I feel like that's what always keeps me going. And look, motivation dips all the time. Pardon the pun, motivation is a roller coaster. It's up, down, it's all around. And people will say to me like, oh, you're always so motivated. No, I'm not. No, I am not. I will get that so clear. I'm also like so hard on myself. I have such a fear of failure, but you have to push past it. For example, on Sunday there, I went to see a horror movie, Smile 2, and for 40 minutes of it, I couldn't tell you what happened in the film. I was too busy in my own head. I was like, oh no, what if nobody watches the podcast? What if nobody listens? Like, what if this was all like a big waste of time? Like, I get so in my head. Eventually, I'm like, oh my God, people are smiling left, right, and centre, and all this crazy stuff's going on in the film, and I've just missed the full thing. What a waste of £10. I couldn't tell you what happened in that film because I'm too busy freaking out about this. So like, I definitely feel like that, and I suppose in this sense as well. Like people have seen I've went to the effort of getting the podcast deal. Imagine it didn't work out and then everyone knows it didn't work out because I'm back in my beanbag. But see, if you're going to let that stop you in life, what's the point? You're on to absolute plums. Who cares if you fail at something? Better an oops than a what if. That's one of my favourite quotes. And what if it does work out? What if it all works out and this was all part of your wee journey? So for work sense, going back to what the girl said about her side hustle as a travel agent, think outside the box. Don't be scared to try new things. Yeah, okay, some things might not work out. There's plenty of shit I have tried and it has not worked out. It's not. And back in my employment days, you know, I went for many jobs that I didn't get. I applied to jobs that I didn't have qualifications for. Those things didn't work out, but rejection is redirection, and here I am. So my advice in a work sense is, look, do things that you might not realise you're capable of doing. Try and pick up new skills that you have no experience in. Think outside the box. Don't be scared what other people think. And life is for living. And when you're old one day and you're reflecting on your life, you don't want to think about all the things that you didn't do. You want to think about all the things you did do and laugh at the mistakes. That's what I'm going to do. I have lots of mistakes, but I have also lots of happy things. In a nutshell, when it comes to work, I'm going to leave you with this quote: create the life you imagined. Or at least try, because as I said, I did think I was going to be a singer, and that literally didn't work out. But this is also a really great life that I probably did imagine at one point. So sky's the limit. And if you fall, you'll land in the stars. Or do you land in the clouds? I think you land in the clouds. Aim for the stars and you'll land in the clouds. And clouds look very soft and inviting. So it doesn't sound too bad. The next topic I'm going to talk about with motivation is health. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I have spent like my whole adult life trying to find a healthy balance on my approach to like the gym, eating, fitness, all that stuff. Definitely when I was younger, like a late teenager to early 20s, my motivation was coming from the wrong places. Like it was all trying to meet these like unrealistic beauty standards that don't even worth being mentioned. But you know, like it was for the wrong reasons. Like I'd book into these gym classes because I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to feel a certain way. You know, like I'd be obsessive over the things I was eating, just unhealthy like trends and stuff. And that was a really horrible way to be motivated, and it's for the wrong reasons, and in turn made me despise the whole process. Like getting myself to the gym when I'd finished my shift at BT, getting myself to the gym afterwards, I'm going for the wrong reasons, I'm not enjoying it, I've already just had a shit day at work, and then I'm going to the gym for all the wrong reasons. Like it's a slug. Is that what you say? A slug? Yeah? A slog. I was like, a slug? Why would it be a slug? It was a slog. I've realised that some of my quotes, guys, might be a little bit off the goalpost, but hey, no one's perfect. So it was a slog. I was going for the wrong reasons. I'm not enjoying it. I just wanted to get out again. And then it's just like a demotivating, horrible cycle. Like, I didn't enjoy going. I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see. And then it's just turning, this whole big, horrible ball of the wrong motivation. Well, I kicked that ball to the side, and we've got a new ball in town, and it is the right motivation. Good motivation. Why do I go to the gym now? Because I enjoy it. In some respects, sometimes I'll be at a spin class and I'm like, this is hell. This is absolute hell. My legs are about to fall off. But for the most part, I enjoy it. Like, I go to the gym because it is so good for my mental. Like, my head is just feeling la-di-da-di-da when I leave. You know, I feel very accomplished. I feel proud of myself. It is pushing yourself. Obviously, it's good for my general health, like my heart, I believe. I'm no doctor, but I think working out is good for your heart. It's good for the organs, keeping your body young, I think, maybe. And of course, look, I'm not going to say that I don't want abs and a peachy bum. If abs and a peachy bum walk past me, I'm grabbing them, I'm taking them. I'd love abs and a peachy bum, but that is not the driving force of why I go to the gym. I don't really know, I can't put my finger on quite why or how things change. I don't know if it is the frontal lobe development. If you don't know about the frontal lobe development, apparently when you're 25, the like front cortex of your brain or something fully develops or further develops, and you just see life differently. I don't know if that's like a placebo effect. Like, that's one thing about me. If I took like a sleeping gummy at nighttime, I'd fall asleep like that, because I'm like, oh well, I've had that sleeping gummy. So someone told me your brain develops at 25, and as soon as I was 25, like the day before I was 25, I was like, nah, it's not developed. The day I was 25, I'm like, I see life so differently. So it probably could be a placebo effect, but I do feel very different when I was 25. I'm now 26, so it's even more developed. But I feel like at that point in my life was like a bit of a turning point where I realised why, honestly, when I'm in the afterlife one day, am I going to care about what size my clothes were? No! Who gives a shit? What I might remember is a really nice dinner I went out for, or, you know, when I went out and just had fun and I didn't care about going to the gym and all this shit. Like, I just definitely let go of that at one point. And I've stopped comparing myself to other people. Like, there's just so much more to life than what you eat. And, when people say you are what you eat, if you're just eating lettuce every day, imagine being a bit of lettuce. I'd rather be like this big, amazing, like, hot dog or something. I don't know. Imagine being a bit of lettuce. If you are what you eat, make it something exciting. Be like a mint chocolate chip ice cream with raspberry sauce and sprinkles on it. I don't know what I'd rather be. Maybe it was the frontal lobe developing, or maybe it is just years of, like, when I was younger, I was definitely, like, overly obsessed with, like, the gym and, like, eating and stuff. Like, maybe it's just, like, going through it and realising, like, what you should and shouldn't do. Like, everyone is different, and it's obviously a very sensitive topic, and it works differently for everyone. But me personally, I'll never, like, count calories. I'll never, like, be obsessed with what I'm putting in my body. Like, okay, I know that you shouldn't eat like a large Domino's pizza every day. Like, that's not rocket science. But I'm not going to go down to counting, like, oh, how much is in this? How much is in that? Can I have this? No, I believe in a life with no limitations, personally. Again, another topic. But also, like, I won't even, for example, like, take before and after pictures of going to the gym, because that's something I would just then, like, focus on. And for me, that just starts to become, like, more damaging than it does more good. But for other people, that works wonders. Like, I wouldn't even, like, weigh myself. I could not tell you what I weigh. I have no idea. But my dad has always said I've been big boned. Maybe that goes back to me being that 9'8" long baby. I have big bones, apparently. Don't know if they weigh me down. What does big boned even mean? Like, big in size or heavy? But my dad's always said, you might not look it, but you are big boned. Anyway, maybe we'll get my dad on one day and he can talk to us about the bones in my body. He seems to know a lot more about them than me. I know that my bones break, though. That's one thing about my bones. They can't be that big because they like to break. Broken toe one summer, broken foot the next. Anyway, I'm again sidetracked. What? I just can't. Like, I can't keep one train of thought. My head just like... Blah, blah, blah. If I was a roller coaster, it would be one with like all the loops and you just don't know what's coming next. You'd need to have one of the... You know you're going on a scary roller coaster when it comes down like that. Like the safety harness comes down like that. If it's just over like here, it's not going to be that crazy of a ride. If it comes over your head, you're in for an absolute shock. And this is what this podcast episode is. A shock. Can't even keep up myself. So on the whole of going to the gym and stuff, etc., don't put too much pressure on yourself to be, you know, oh, people go to the gym this many times a week, people look like this who go to the gym. I personally go to the gym because I enjoy it. I enjoy spinning my wee legs. I enjoy doing my flexible movements at Pilates, feeling stronger. And of course, it is a benefit if I'm feeling good in my dress at the weekend, but there is just so much more to life. The next topic is running, motivation with running, because someone asked about that. Now, I'll tell you where I found my motivation, because me and running are two things that have just never went together. Like, I couldn't run for a bus. Like, I really don't enjoy running, right? But I went to see the Glasgow Half Marathon last year. Nadine was running in it, and I went to go see her run it. And I just couldn't believe the feeling that came over me. Like, it was so emotional. There is something about watching people run in unison that is so emotional. And like, you know, people were like crying as they finished across the finish line. People were doing it for charity. Like, I mean, it's a big thing to be so proud of if you can run a half marathon. So that is what motivated me. Like, I literally left Glasgow Green that day and I said, I'm doing that next year. And hats off to me. I really tried to do it this year. You know, I bought running shoes. My running shoes are pretty ugly, right? But I went to this place called Achilles Heel, and they like watch how you like walk and run, and like they determine what kind of shoes you need. One thing about me is I have weird feet. I have really weird feet. That's why I fall so much. One, I don't think they're big enough to support my height, my long height, because I'm a size 4 and I'm like 5'8", I think. So I don't think there's simply enough surface area to hold me up. Also, my toes are shaped like this. If I put my 2 feet together, they point up the way, like, you know, face this way, up, going up. They're very, very pointy, right? So my big toe is the size of my thumb and my baby toe is like this size and it goes like that. So I don't think there's enough to hold me up. So naturally, I'm a bit of a weird runner. My dad says I run like Phoebe from Friends. My limbs just fly absolutely everywhere. So I went to Achilles Heel to see what kind of shoes I need. And he was like, you need these specific shoes. He was very, what's the word? He told me I need these specific shoes and not many other shoes would accommodate my odd feet. He didn't say those words, but I knew what he meant. So I had to get these shoes. They're kind of ugly. They're navy as well. I'm actually wearing navy, so that goes against everything I was about to say. I don't really like the colour navy, but I'm wearing it today, so oh well, looks like I do. So I bought these shoes. I started training. I'm going out running. Hail, snow. Gale, snow or hail? Wind, snow or hail? Who's Gail? Anyway, I'm out running no matter the weather, and I live in Glasgow. The weather's never nice, so I'm out going on solo runs. My joints are getting sore, but I'm doing this half marathon. I actually was going to do it for Dogs Trust as well. Luckily, I didn't get to the charity sign up bit because boom, got salmonella. And I've spoke about that enough. We all know what happened there. So I couldn't run my half marathon because right now I couldn't probably run the length of me due to that nice beef taco I had. So I didn't do my half marathon, but I was going to. And the point is, I don't like running. Like, I'll be honest, when I was out running, I was like, this is horrible. Like, I don't understand how people like this. Like, Nadine said to me, like, she loves running now. Like, she's actually run proper marathons, not even half ones. My boyfriend loves running and they're like, it's fun. I'm like, what is fun about this? It's horrific. But that takes it back to, I'm motivated because I'm training my mind. I'm not running it because I think, oh, I should run and like it will make me lose weight and all this like toxic stuff. I'm doing it because I wanted to push myself mentally, and that's what running is. It's like a mental battle. It's a very hard mental battle. Would I've ever managed a half marathon? I don't know. I suppose we'll never know unless I decide to pick it up. But I'll tell you what, I ran a 15k before I went to Thailand, and my knee was buckled the full time in Thailand. Getting up and down the stairs was so difficult. And I just need to weigh up for me, you know, pushing yourself mentally. Yeah, that sounds good, but I need these knees for life. I could get a knee replacement, but I feel like that would just be really annoying and just inconvenient. And I want to keep my knees, I think, personally. So, you know, mental challenge, new knees. I feel like that's something I'll need to decide. But if you want to get into running, you're going to have to get yourself in a zone and test yourself mentally, and don't get salmonella. And the last, third and final topic I'm going to talk about when it comes to motivation is LOVE, love. I don't know if we realise how much motivation is required in a romantic relationship, or do we? Is it just me? I can only speak for myself. I am a one-man band here, so I can only tell you what's going on in my head. But a lot of motivation is required to be in a successful loving relationship. Like, think about it. Like, you need to be motivated to put in the effort, you know, to check in on someone, to make time for someone, to make plans with someone. It goes without saying you need to be motivated to get through the shitty times, because all relationships have shit times. No relationship is perfect. Take that from me. I have done 10 years of research. A full decade of my life I have researched different relationships, and none of them are perfect. Of course they're not. Nobody's perfect. So you definitely require motivation to get through those tough times. To put it bluntly, if you are not motivated to do all of the above, it will end. Trust me, it will end. It will end before it's even started. You need to have motivation in a love sense. It is true what they say. Who is they? When we say it's true what they say, who is they? Anyway, but it's true what they say. All good relationships are the ones you work on, because I mean, unless there is like just two people who come together and they're the exact same person, it's just la-di-da-di-da and no work required. But I personally find that hard to believe. If I was going off the numbers and the factual evidence that I have found on my years of research, it doesn't work like that. Two people come together. Remember, we all came out the womb individually, unless you're twins or triplets, or I don't know what above a triplet would be. A quadruplet? Quadruplet? Are people having 4 babies at once? Because fuck that. If I was to do that, £40 worth of human is coming out of me. What? Actually, what? Oh my God, I really hope I don't have them. I don't think twins or quadruplets run in my family though, thank God. Phew, just big boned babies apparently. Two different people come together, and although I'm sure you have lots in common, unless you're our opposite attracts vibe, I'm not going for opposites anymore. I'm going for someone who's very similar to me. I do have a boyfriend, he's very similar to me, but still we have lots of differences, of course. We're two different people, we have two different wants and needs and all that jazz. So you need to work on that. Like, how I maybe communicate might be different from him. Of course, you need to work on these things. And to be able to work on these things, you need to be motivated to do that. What motivates you in a relationship? Because it's not, well, for some people, it's definitely money. Like, I was going to say it's not money, but some people it is. Some people actually say, I want a rich husband. For me, personally, it's not money. For me, it's how much I love someone. You know, like, maybe my goal is to spend the rest of my life with them. Like, so having these goals and, like, feelings is your motivation. So for me, I am motivated to work on my current relationship because I ideally would like to spend forever with him, and that's the goal we're working towards. So you need to wake up and show up. Wake up and show up. You need to wake up every day with the motivation to make your relationship work. Of course, everyone has off days. That's fine. But if you aren't consistently putting in the work and putting in the effort, the relationship will fail. I hate to break it to you, but it will. Quickly. And the opposite of needing motivation to stay in a successful relationship would also be, if you're in a relationship that isn't serving you and it isn't fulfilling you, you need motivation to leave that. Like, leaving a relationship is terrifying. You know, like willingly putting yourself through a breakup is probably something most people don't want to have to do. There might be the odd person out there who enjoys breakups, but me personally don't like them. They're not fun. They're not enjoyable. They're not a laugh. They're sad. So you need to actually leave a relationship. It does take courage. Like, it takes guts, it takes balls to walk away from something, you know, like something you've built with someone, you know, that's your life as you know it. Like, it is very, very scary to decide this isn't working for me anymore and I'm going to leave it. But what motivates you to do that? Many things. But what has ever motivated me in the past? God, I've said motivated so many times I'm tripping over it. What has motivated me in the past, if I've been in these scenarios, is you need to remember your core values. You need to remember, like, your love languages. You need to remember what it is you want out of a relationship. And if you come to the conclusion that the current relationship you're in isn't able to provide that for you, you need to use that as motivation to get the hell out of there. Because someone else will, and it might take a few attempts. It might take loads of attempts. There's 7 billion people in the world. It could take you some time to get around everyone and decide which one fits. It's like Goldilocks trying the porridges. You know, like, she had to try a couple before she found the one she likes and the bed she likes. That's fine. That's fine. We don't all get it right first time. But you need to use motivation to get you out of something you no longer want to be in. And that just brings me back to all work. If you don't like your job anymore, use motivation to get out and try something else. That doesn't really make sense with the gym. Well, it does make sense with the gym. Maybe you've been going to one gym class and you don't like it. You've went to a HIIT class and you thought, fuck that, I think I'd prefer the Zumba. So use motivation to get yourself to Zumba. And if you're in a relationship you don't want to be in, use motivation to get out of that. Or if you are in one that you do want to be in, use your motivation to stay in it. And that is Megano's mantras on motivation. Okay, guys, I don't know if anything I just said made sense, but it made sense in my head. And that is everything I have to say on motivation. Remember, we have Megano's mail right here. It is ready for us next week. Send in anything you like. As I said, it might not be used in next week's. It could be the one after that. It could be the one after that. But please send in Megano's mail. I am oversharing to the max. I'm happy to tell you absolutely anything, and I would love some input from you too. I just want us all to, like, connect and, you know, be best friends now that you can see me as well. On that note, remember, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, but you can also now watch full-length videos. I'm here, right here, over on YouTube. You will see little short clips on Instagram, on TikTok, so be sure to follow me absolutely everywhere. I would love to have you there, and I would love to see you again next week, so please do return. If you don't, I'll be sad. Don't make me sad. I love yous. Bye.